What's going on, guys? It's Tony Thurman, Girl Scout Media, living the dream as always, and coming to you today to do it off the rails about the restarting of sports. There is a ton of conversation here as we are at the middle part of May about Blake Snell from the Tampa Bay Rays and his conversation about not playing because it's his life, bro. You got to have your chicken and your mentals right. And that's a baseball player, by the way. Runner-up in the Cy Young American League race last year, I believe. Tampa Bay Rays. Sounds about right. Basketball players who are concerned, is it worth coming back? I think it's a fascinating topic, and I think it's one that deserves a little bit of conversation objectively. So, I'm going to try and be as straight down the middle here as I possibly can, because what we are really discussing is a few pieces. It's not a, hey, I want to come back and have these guys playing games again. That's actually not the concern or the focus. The focus is a few pieces. One, the economy. We have to at some point start talking about it, guys. We are heading towards a recession that is going to be worse than the Great Depression. The government's getting ready to hand out another round of stimulus checks, possibly. I just think that it's all kind of showing the economy is in trouble. Simple as that. And that's fine. I don't care. It's been in trouble before. It will go on. Life will continue, but it's going to be very inconvenient. So there are people who have to objectively look at the economy and say, what can we do to avoid a full-on collapse? The worse the economy gets, that will impact people along the way. Now, the other piece, and it's weird that I'm saying that this is just an equal to the economy piece and not more important, but we have to put a value on human life here and human safety. That's the truth. It's not just testing. It's what happens when someone dies. Remember, Rudy Gobert tested positive, and then the NBA shut down the league. So there is a lot of aspects to that player safety, referees, coaches, any cameramen that are there, anybody that is within distance of these operations. Not to mention the fact that they want to do multiple teams in a centralized location. You're talking about a couple hundred, if not 1,000 people that you would need to perform some of these goals for NBA. Baseball, kind of the same deal. They're talking about just a couple of centralized locations, bringing everyone together, things like that. It's a very dangerous proposition. If we don't want Joe Schmo from Nebraska getting on an airplane or taking a train or driving across the country, why are we allowing sports players to do it? Or even entertain the idea? That's my opinion. I think trying to remain objective here, not an opinion, but the question is, why are we allowing it? And I know the economy, the weight of human life, those are the two main pieces that we have to factor in. So, looking at it objectively, my suggestion would be we cancel sports for the foreseeable future. I'm sorry. I'm a sport nut, and you guys do not realize how hard it is to come up with content consistently when it's either shitting on the people who make Magic the Gathering, highlighting how they've broken the game, or video games or sports. That's truly all I cover, right? So I need sports to help this channel, but on the same token, it's not that important to where I want people that I will never meet to risk their lives. I'm never going to meet Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Steph Curry. I'm not going to meet these guys. I still don't want them to risk their lives this year just so I can get a couple hours of basketball. Like, that seems incredibly selfish. I understand that people don't want to throw the season away, but these guys also have to understand that you may be throwing your health away. And that, to me, is the bigger factor. Now, I know that it's a perspective issue. I know that they will have a lot of safety precautions in place. And I know that I do not have all the information in front of me that the players and the doctors and everybody who would be involved in these leagues that they have. I know they have more exclusive information than us common folk do. But it don't take no rocket scientists, folks, to realize this is dangerous. You're playing with fire here. You're playing with fire. And the other thing that I feel is really interesting is, and the reason I brought up the Blake Snell guy, how many players do you think are going to say, no, it's not worth it? You can't force them. That'd be a real shitty look for a team to force a player in these kinds of times. And that'd be a real bad look. So I'm fascinated with how this is going to turn out. And looking at it objectively, you have the economy, the cost of human life, and then the players. I mean, let's run a hypothetical here. Let's say that we bring the NBA back. And the Utah Jazz and the LA Lakers are playing in the conference finals. Okay? Let's just throw that out there. That's the conference finals in the West. And Anthony Davis gets sick. Or let's just choose Anthony Davis because I think that's a good example. So Anthony Davis gets sick. That impacts directly LeBron James and the Lakers and their ability. That's not an injury. That is a pandemic-related issue that caused him to be out. What about if players on the other team say, no, we're not even going to be around those guys or suit up because that's not worth it, and then the team has to do something crazy like, I don't know, call up the G League players from their affiliate to fill in. Well, LeBron James is going to steamroll those players. He could play 5-on-1, and he'd probably give us a great show. That's just think about that. Put any players you want into the what if they get sick? What if the opposing team doesn't want to deal with it? What if players don't feel safe? I mean, these are all valid questions that we have to start asking. I mean, fuck, I don't know why it's such an issue to talk about it. And I don't want the economy to collapse. I'm trying to move on to the next phase of my life. Career goals. I want to buy a house. Continuing to build my stance in savings and stocks and things. Like, I'm trying to move my life to the next fucking level. And find that next job, and find that next house, and find that next car, and find all those things. The economy crashing doesn't support me. Okay, so I'm not even trying to be selfish here. And I just want everything to open back up so I can get my life back on. It's not how it's going to work, kids. So I truly, I hate the idea of not having sports. I do. Although I guess if you're desperate enough, you could go over to Korea and play in the KBO. Korean baseball organization, for those of you who are new to the show. But damn, we can't ignore that this is a real risk. This is a serious issue. And there's part of me that's scared for the safety of these players. So, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think the NBA is going to do the right thing by coming back? The NFL is already making plans on how they can have the games without people in the stadiums, but the NFL has more players on each team than the NBA and MLB. So I don't want to talk about what the NFL is going to do in September because they're going to get to see how these other groups do it, these other leagues, and then do the best parts and avoid the worst. But I don't know. I think we're heading for a serious issue if we believe that we can just reopen all these players who've already tested positive and who've had these issues. Now we're going to reopen the leagues and pretend that nothing is going to happen to these guys. We've already seen world-class athletes get sick. So I think that this is it's a tough move. And trying to look at it objectively, my opinion would be we just cancel the seasons. And that was the point of this. I want to take all the facts that we knew, or at least how we perceive it, of what the decision is based around, objectively look at it, and then give our opinion. And my opinion is that human life has a higher cost than what the economy would gain from sports coming back. That's just me, guys. Tell me what you think. Thank you so much for listening. This is Tony K with Urban Girl Scout Media, living the dream as always.